let's just do this right now. Take out a sheet of paper, and you're going to label it Crash Course on Nonviolence. And we're going to have you, have it as page 52 in your notebook. Okay? Crash Course on Nonviolence, page 52 in your notebook. So as you watch that video, if it comes up with some terms, if it comes up with some information, famous people, you need to record that here. Remember that you don't have to play the video. I was like, oh, they went too fast. Hit pause. Okay? Some people, for some reason, forget that you can hit pause, even if they don't tell you to hit pause. Okay? Again, I sent this to you as a link to your email. And it's like, oh, my email is wacky. It is also on Moodle. Okay, so you have two places that you can find it for next Tuesday. Okay. All right. So our objectives today are going to kind of finish up talking about the Transcendentalist movement as it's seen in his poetry. And then the nonviolence movement, we're going to deal with civil disobedience. Okay. And we're going to do something that you guys haven't probably done I know you haven't done it in my class. Have you ever done a silent discussion in anybody else's class? You've never done one? They're kind of cool. I was hoping to have time to go get flag football, like the belts you guys have, because if you talk, then you lose your flag. So I would totally biff it on this one. So, but we're going to finish up with days first. So if you want to take out your Emerson poetry, I'm not going to go through each and all because I feel like I did that with the video. Did everything make sense of what I said? Stop, do this. I was really hoping that you would stop and discuss. This is really funky. Oh, good. Now I lost everything. Is it just me that it's really blue? Or like someone put sunglasses on it? Huh. It was just fine for English kids. That's just weird. All right. Well, we'll power through and figure out what's going on here. Okay. So for each and all, it is the idea of transcendentalism is the idea that we're all an individualist, but yet in society, if you pull us out, then you take the beauty away from it. And so it talks a little bit about the farm, and then you read about the birds, and then the shells. The one I am a little bit offended by was the woman one. So basically, if you had sex with her, she loses her beauty. That's basically what he's saying. Okay. And then the idea of standing up on a mountain and looking at the beauty. Okay. I would have to say that my favorite poem, period, is this one. And I'm a huge Robert Frost fan, but I love the poem Days because of the beauty of the message. And I would not in any way say that I'm a transcendentalist. But this one I really like. It says, daughters of time, the hypocritic days, muffled and dumb like barefoot dervishes. A dervish is a maiden, so kind of picture medieval times. You know, they had kind of like those laced up corsets and, you know, serving wench in Shakespeare's time. And marching single in an endless file, bring diadems and faggots in their hands. Diadems are like platters. To each they offer gifts after his will, bread, kingdom, stars, sky that holds them all. I in my pleached garden watched the pomp, forgot my morning wishes, hastily took a few herbs and apples, and the day turned and departed silent. I, too late, under her solemn fillet, saw the scorn. Okay? At your table, you're going to probably want to move back there. At your table, find the personification for days. Circle those personifications. Where do you see it? Okay, so help me out. Daughters, days, male or female? Huh? Female, because the first word is daughters. And you see pronouns like her and I thought there was a she in there. Am I not seeing it? Oh, they, I guess. They march, okay? They do not speak, okay? They offer things, they bring things, they have gifts, okay? And so there's the personification, okay? So what are they doing? How do days march in single file? Forget the poem. Can you do a day two at a time? No, a day comes to you in single file. So think of a day, like today, as a woman. And for some reason, ladies, we are hurricanes, we're boats, we're cars. For some reason, the female is usually a personification of a lot of things, good and bad, truth, okay? So she's marching by you in single file because she can only come at you one at a time. And what does she do? She can't speak, so that's why she's muffled and dumb, okay? And, oh, here's the other. This is personification too, this one, okay? She's marching in endless single file. So how are days endless? Well, I don't know about you, but I hope that they don't ever stop, okay? Because that's kind of eternity. If someone gets a hand on a bomb, then and she stops coming, we're in trouble, okay? And she brings diadems, which are like platters, faggots are pitchers, and offers them each after his own will. So whatever you want, bread, do you want food? Do you want kingdom? Do you want power? Stars, do you want the beauty of the stars, the sky? She's offering you these huge things every day, these beautiful, beautiful gifts. And he says to himself, I in my garden watched this parade and forgot my morning wishes and hastily took a few herbs and apples. And the day turns, like at midnight, and departs silent. And I too late under her solemn fillet saw the scorn. Now fillet here is not a steak, okay? Her solemn look. So why does day get mad at this speaker? At the beginning of the day, when you get out of bed, the day has all of these things to offer you. Food, kingdom, stars, and sky. What does he take? Yeah, herbs, apples. We don't take everything that a day has to offer us. And day, as if it's a person, turns and thinks, meh, these people are dumb. I can offer them all of this, and this is a little bit that they take. So this poem, in a transcendentalist kind of idea or way, is kind of reminding us of the potential of a day, a potential of every single day when you get out of bed, you have this amazing potential. And I know what you're thinking, and I'm sitting here in American work, right? Yeah. Right? And obviously, every day has a different kind of potential. We have key days in our lives that we will never forget, okay? And maybe it was because on that day we took everything that that day had to offer us, okay? Or maybe that day the day offered us something that we would rather give back, okay? But this is a poem about the optimism, the beauty of what a day has for us, and how we as humans don't understand the beauty of the day, okay? It is truly a treasure of the day. Now, for those of you that are listening on video, we're going to watch a video that's a music video. Hold on. Okay. So now we're going to look at Concord hymn. It is a hymn. It is something that was sung. Actually, I'll go back and so that I'll tell you something you didn't know. If you ever sing the doxology in church, praise God from whom all blessings flow. Praise him, all creatures here below. That's the tune. Sorry about having to put up with that. Okay. He was asked to write this for the commemoration of the shot heard around the world, which is the very famous line that came from here. It's the start of the American Revolution. Okay? This is kind of, if you tie this to Abraham Lincoln, who wrote the Gettysburg Address and said, "These men shall not have died in vain." This poem, or this song, I shouldn't call it a poem, even though we're going to study it as a poem. This poem is about the ultimate sacrifice an individual can give for something that they believe in, which is, what is the ultimate sacrifice you can give for something you believe in? Your life, everything that you have, okay? So notice that the first stanza sets up the setting. By the rude bridge that arched the flood, their flag to April's breeze unfurled. Hence, here once the embattled farmer stood and fired the shot around the world. So we get a couple of setting things, that it's in April, that there's a bridge, the farmers were there. So this is the setting of the story. Okay? The start of the American Revolution. The foe, long since in silence slept. The foe, of course, ooh, don't do that. Okay? The foe, which is the British, since in silence slept. Everybody look at all of the S's in here. Since, silent, slept, silent, sleeps, swept, C word. He's even got a lot of S's at the end. S is a calming sound. The foe long since in silent sleep, alike the conqueror silent sleeps. And time the ruined bridge has swept down the dark stream that seaward creeps. He capitalizes the word time because, again, he uses personification, saying that time is going to just kind of sweep this away. On this green bank, by this soft stream, we place with joy a votive stone, that memory may their deeds redeem when, like our sires, that's our fathers, our sons are gone. Okay? A votive stone is a memorial. Okay? So just like you guys see markers that commemorate an important event, that's what they're doing. They're putting a plate there. Okay? And it's talking about that we need to remember this. Even though our fathers have gone away, our sons will eventually die. We need to remember this place. O thou who made those heroes dare to die and leave their children free, bid time and nature gently spare the shaft we raise to them and thee. So we know that Emerson was not necessarily a religious person in the sense that we would call God. He went to be a minister and kind of left it. This is that over soul that he's talking about, that larger being that all of us are part of, okay? And notice that he puts in time again and nature in capital letters, all kind of on an even keel, okay? So this poem in its nutshell is kind of what we've heard from many, many speakers. The ultimate gift that somebody can give, it's said in the New Testament, he that lays down his life for his friend. It is said when we talk about veterans who lay down their lives so that we could be free. He recognized that. And he wrote this after being asked. It is a song that you can sing. Kind of an interesting note, the choir that sang it. In the choir is Henry David Thoreau. He sang with it. Okay? So that is Emerson, and we're kind of not done with transcendentalism, but we're not going to be discussing anymore any of its qualities. So next week, Tuesday and Thursday, we have class because, and then it's Easter. Then you come back after the following week, which will be the first week of April, and I believe we'll have class one day that week because we don't have class on Tuesday. And according to my schedule, we'll only have class on. So in the next 2 weeks, basically, I'll see you for 3 days. And I only saw you one day this week because of Tessa. So this is kind of the deal with your reading, your independent reading. When we get back after Easter, we're going to finish up civil disobedience. You'll watch that video for Tuesday on that, and we're going to do what is called a silent discussion about civil disobedience. you were supposed to have already read civil disobedience, and you probably were like eyes crossed and wanted to hurl because it's hard reading. Okay? Yes? It's dry. There's no storyline. It's like, oh man, just shoot me now. Okay? We're going to try to talk about why was that such a revolutionary essay, and then we're going to talk about Martin Luther King. There is extra credit up online. It will close Saturday at noon. It is on Gandhi, because Gandhi read Thoreau and Emerson and adopted their policy. Okay? We have yet for this quarter, to give everybody kind of a heads up, we're going to read a book called Of Mice and Men. And I'm playing around with the idea of whether we were going to have time to read the play Our Town. I've always wanted to get to it in the way that we're shifting things. We might be able to do that as well. While we're reading Of Mice and Men, you will be allowed to suspend your independent reading. But Of Mice and Men is only 100 pages. It is a very short book. It actually shouldn't even be called a novel. It should be called like an extended short story. Okay, so we take it very, very fast. Okay. And, but I don't know if you guys are thinking about it, but we have ITED coming up on the 9th of April, so that'll be, it's your last one, be excited, okay? And then in there is prom. I mean, next week is the start of April. So imagine this time next year, you'll be thinking about graduation parties. Okay? So, yeah, I know, yikes, okay? If you have not read Civil Disobedience and annotated it, that is your job to make sure that you do that. But what you need to make sure that you have done for Tuesday is to watch that crash course video. It's about 12 minutes and take notes. All right? Just